Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer With Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
I named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer With Geeks.
It comes in paints.
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer With Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man who loves a good follow-up. It's Frank. How are you today?
I am doing well, my friend. How are you?
I am also doing well, Frank. It is lovely to see you, as always. Follow-up question, what are you drinking?
Thought you might ask that, so I have an answer ready to go. See, you can't get me.
I'm the gingerbread man.
Yeah. I am still working through my my variety pack of Belgians, and this week I am enjoying the Éphémère. Ephemeral, I think is how you would pronounce it. This is a white, a Belgian white, and it is delicious. It is light and perfect, sort of end of summer, early fall. It's a white ale, and it is just absolutely delightful, and it's crisp, a little sweet. And really, I'm enjoying the heck out of it. So that's what I've got going this week. What about you? What are you working on?
I am drinking one of my gluten-free beers, which
Nice.
I don't have to be gluten-free, but it's just nice and refreshing, when your tummy doesn't, feel a little full when you're done. So I'm just drinking an Omission, the golden lager. It's a good one. Because it's still a little warm out where we are, it feels nice to kind of wrap up some of the summer lighter beers before hunkering down into our darker varieties. So that's it. That's all I'm drinking. Nothing too fancy for me.
Nice. Omission was one that you recommended to me a few years back, and I've enjoyed it a lot ever since. And my wife actually does have to be gluten free, and she'll enjoy an Omission every now and then. But it gets me thinking, Tim, that we recommend a lot of things to one another, and we often end up talking about them on this show. We'll try to hit each other with our best shots. And I thought it was only appropriate that we should follow up on some of these, because we've been doing the best shot segment for 5 years now.
That's wild. I can't believe we've been doing it for that long.
5 years.
How long are we doing this podcast? How many years now have we been doing this?
We're at 7, I believe. Yeah, I think we're at about 7 years. In fact, we probably just crossed that threshold a few weeks ago. So there you go. But we've been doing best shot. The very first best shot, I thought we could just go through the list and sort of talk about did we ever take up the other one on the recommendation, and just sort of do some quick hit sort of rapid fire follow up on all the best shot segments, because we've done oh gosh, I haven't counted here, but I have the list. I went through and made a list of everyone we've done, and it's like maybe 20. I'll count when I get a chance here. But the first one, you hit me with your best shot on Lord of the Rings in February of 2016. That was the very first best shot episode.
Yep.
And I have not done it. I have not read or watched a Lord of the Ring.
I did not think that you were going to at all. Really, this was a fruitless best shot at best. And That's fine. I tried, and I really don't expect you to ever get there. I've watched it plenty for you.
Okay,
in the meantime.
Thanks. After that, I hit you with my best shot about Doctor Who in April of 2016.
Oh, that's right, you did.
And you watched Loki, so that counts.
Yeah, I did watch Loki. I did. And no, I definitely didn't watch any Doctor Who. I've talked to it about my wife and how we both think that it's something we would enjoy, yet we're never going to watch it.
Interesting. I think she would like it more than you.
Yeah, she's not super into science fiction. She's more of a fantasy gal than a sci-fi gal. But it's so funny that like even now, like all these years later, I'm still like, I can't even do it.
I get it, man. That's how I am with Lord of the Rings. I get it. I'm just like, I can't bring myself to do it. I get it. Well, that's okay. We talked about the X-Men franchise in May of 2016, just the franchise overall, and I was talking about how I've never really gotten into it. It was like just almost too overwhelming and overstimulating with so many characters and everything. And you talked to me about how special it really is and how it's a great allegory. And I haven't read any X-Men comics that I hadn't already read in this time, but I've appreciated, when I've seen the movies over the last couple of years, I've appreciated them more because of our conversation.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's something. The X-Men, it's funny, the X-Men franchise, the further you get away from it, as they haven't, Fox isn't going to make any more of them, because it's all Disney now, but I don't have an inclination to go back to them myself. And so even far removed from, 5 years removed from talking about the X-Men franchise. And I'm like, I'll maybe get there. Though I do still think there are some that are some of the best comic book movies out there. They're just not in my personal zeitgeist brain.
Yeah. I know what you mean. If I catch them on TV, that's how I end up watching them, honestly. If they happen to be on, which seems to happen fairly often. I think FX likes to show them a lot. At least they used to. So anyway, that's X-Men. And then here's one that has turned around. Twitter. I talked to you about Twitter in July of 2016. And at the time you were like, I don't really see myself using it that much. But now you're a big Twitter user.
Yeah, I'm a huge Twitter user, and this is all thanks to you.
Is it really?
I've met some very nice people on Twitter, and I'm so glad that I have it in my life because I try to stay away from the toxicity of it. And so I make sure to just really pay attention to the things that are of interest to me, people with optimism, positivity for news and stuff like that. But not just the headlines, but actually clicking on the news to scroll to the next thing. And I have found it kind of a helpful tool more than anything. And also a great way to converse with some people that I wouldn't have met otherwise, people who share my values and my interests, people from all walks of life, some very funky people, and I'm really happy that you convinced me to hop on board for this.
That's really cool to hear. Was that because of that episode, or did something else sort of pull you in?
Honestly, it's been so long I can't remember, so I'm going to attribute it to this episode.
All right,
I had a Twitter before this episode. If you did recall, but I think it was this episode that finally pitched me okay, do the Twitter thing now.
Huh. Okay.
So that one actually worked. So it took four episodes, but we finally got to something that was actually followed through on. Surprise, surprise. It was
made a meaningful change.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. October 2016, we talked about pulp movie heroes, The Shadow, The Phantom, Mask of Zorro, that kind of stuff. I watched The Phantom.
You did, because I made you watch it specifically for when Zachy was on.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Did you get around to The Shadow or The Mask of Zorro?
I haven't, because I figured we will talk about those on this podcast at some point.
We will. Superhero slapback. We'll
exactly.
Get there. You didn't know that in 2016, though.
I didn't know that at the time, no. But The Rocketeer, I mean, not exactly. It's in the same vein, and I watched that of my own free will because I just wanted to. And Yeah, so I'll put The Rocketeer in that category as well, and I did watch that after this. So,
Okay,
so there you go.
That's something. That's something.
Then I talked to you about the Beatles, also in October 2016. Not that you had never listened to the Beatles before. I actually think if I remember correctly, I think this episode was your idea of like, well, why don't you talk to me about why you love the Beatles as much as you do, and explain to me why you love them as much as you do.
I think that's true. So it's weird that we used it as a best shot. We were best shot happy, apparently.
I guess so. It was a new thing, and we were excited about it.
We were excited about it because we 4 times between, no, how many times? 5 times between February and October.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So, and 2 of them in October. So obviously we were very excited about the best shot category. And I mean, I still really like the Beatles. I know why. You were going to do a Beatles documentary.
Yes.
Or you did a Beatles documentary.
I haven't done it. It's still sitting it's still bubbling in my brain. It's been bubbling for a while.
Okay. Well, I think part of that was that you were not gung ho, but you were. I think you were starting to really formulate it at that time.
Okay.
So I think it was part of almost like a test run on talking
that sounds
about
right.
the Beatles.
That sounds right. Yeah, you might be right. I think you are right about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So follow up. I still like them, and you do too.
I do too. So everyone's happy.
There's actually a book coming out of all of Paul McCartney's lyrics. Did you see that?
Yeah. I don't. It's going to be a little pricey. I don't think I'm going to buy it, but I am excited for whatever other content comes along with it.
Wait, why is it going to be pricey?
It's like this big deluxe hardcover 2 volumes in a box type of thing, so it's going to be a very expensive box set book type thing.
I did not realize. I thought it was just
it's like a
gonna
big
be
coffee
a little
table.
hardcover.
It's like a big coffee table collector's book type of thing.
Got it. I thought they were going the Bob Dylan route.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, the next one. This is another one that bore fruit. You talked to me about Alien in May 2017, and I think that same week I sat down and watched Alien because the pitch was
yes.
The pitch was so enticing to me, and I was like, I gotta watch this movie, and so I did, and I really, really enjoyed it.
That's great. So follow up all these years later, would you watch Alien again now that it's been a few years?
Yeah, absolutely, I would. Yeah.
That I think is, along with Twitter, I think then that's a successful hit me with your best shot.
Yeah,
we really went for it in both of them, and they bore actual fruit.
They did.
I don't know what kind of fruit. Papaya, probably.
I don't know. The kind of fruit that comes out of your chest, I guess. I don't know. All right, Planet of the Apes franchise in August 2017. You again pitched me. And I watched the first Planet of the Apes movie right after that.
Oh, did you? I didn't even wait. Did you watch the Heston one, or did you watch the Rise or whatever? Which I can't remember the order.
Yeah, Rise, the first Rise. of the modern set.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. I don't think I even knew that.
We probably talked about it at the time, but I never continued with the rest of the new franchise. But I really did enjoy the first one.
The first one's good. I think it's out of those 3. It's the least good of them. It's a B, and Rise, Dawn and War are A's. Like those are amazing movies. And so I would head back into that world. You don't really have to rewatch the first one to dive into 2 and 3.
All right.
The first one is just the setup. So if you remember that apes are smart and Caesar is a name, then that's all you need. That's it.
Great.
The end.
Great. I could always use some more Andy Serkis, so that's great. November 2018, you pitched me on the Ninja Turtles movies.
I did pitch you on the Ninja Turtles movies. I'm going to take a guess that you did not watch them.
I did not.
Well, we're going to have to for superhero slapback.
That's
so
right.
Get ready.
Okay. Right on.
Listen, my wife watched one before you.
Wow. What did she say?
She liked it. How weird is that?
That is.
She was invested in Master Splinter.
Wow. Okay.
She needed to know what was going to happen to Splinter. That was really important to her.
Well, cowabunga.
Right? I know. I put it on because she was doing something in the kitchen or something. I don't even remember. This was a long time ago now. And I was kind of in the mood, so I was just watching it, and she sat down, and I was maybe 10 minutes in. It's an hour and a half. It's not exactly a long movie. And she was just kind of watching it, and then all of a sudden, it's over in 20 minutes. And I was like, yo, you want me to turn this off? And she was like, no. Like, what's going to happen?
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. Well, I mean, she loves Jim Henson, and so I think I told her that the costumes were designed by Jim Henson, and she was like, "I'm on board. Let's do this."
Nice.
So that was important for her. Next one in May of 2019, I pitched you on Edward Scissorhands. I guess we went out. We did not do an every other, and I pitched you on Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, and I had seen that movie already, but maybe you wanted to pitch me on why you love it as much as you do. This might have been early in you working on your master's degree.
It was definitely me working. It was definitely me working on my master's.
Okay. Okay.
But I didn't write about Edward Scissorhands for my thesis. I think I was just in the zone of
Tim Burton
movies.
On the brain, maybe? I don't know.
I guess so. I'm not really sure. But anyway, you had already seen it, but you should watch it again. Did you? I guess that was the pitch.
Did not watch it again. No, because the last time the only time I've seen it was actually with you. 10, 12 years ago or something. One of the very first times we hung out, actually, I think. So, I haven't rewatched it, but I feel like I have more of an appreciation for Tim Burton films now than I did even in 2019. And so it would probably serve me well to watch it again, more now than it would have 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay. I mean, I still recommend. It's still one of the best films to come out of the 1990s, and definitely one of Burton's best. So,
this next one was one that you weren't there for, but I did an episode with our friend Tookie from the Loud Women podcast, and she pitched me on Married at First Sight, the reality show. And I thought it sounded like very entertaining, but it's one of those shows that I'm probably not going to watch by choice. It's the kind of show that if it was on, I might give it a chance, and then I might get sucked into it even. But I have not, I have to admit, sorry, Tookie, I have not checked out Married at First Sight.
I'm glad that you knew what that was, because I was looking I was looking at it, and I was like, I have no idea what this was. I was like, what happened to my life in June 2019? And I remember why you did this, because I got married.
Yes, that's right.
And I was on my honeymoon, so you did an episode here. That all makes sense now.
Yes.
Yeah, but then I came back, baby, to pitch you The Boys and Pennyworth in August 2019. Did you watch either of them?
I have not watched either of them. And I have very little interest in Pennyworth. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I don't think I'll ever check that out.
Truthfully, I didn't watch it past the pilot.
Okay, there you go.
So I can't even tell you to watch it.
But The Boys, I do have some interest in. It's one of those things that I have some reservations, and I feel like I'm going to be annoyed by certain things about it, but I need to just watch it and not be held back by I feel like I'm going to think this. That's on me.
I think when you start, or when we place the heroes we love on top of these archetypes, we get annoyed. Like, that's not Batman, that's not Superman, that's not Wonder Woman, whatever. And they're just using the archetype created by those heroes 80 years ago. They're not supposed to be them, and that's a difference, right? It's not Injustice, where you're watching an evil Superman. You're watching a character that is strong and has speed and heat vision, but those are just a basic power set, so you understand the trope and how they're flipping the trope, but it's not a reflection on Superman himself.
I appreciate I do appreciate that. Like, I appreciate that in the sense of, like, I really enjoyed the 2 graphic novel series, Irredeemable and what was the
Incorruptible?
Incorruptible was the other way. Yes, Mark Waid, right? And I really enjoyed both of those series. But with the place I'm at in my life right now, I'm not really I don't really want very serious dark content right now. I'm kind of especially right now. I mean, this was 2019 when we talked about it. This is before anyone had ever heard the words COVID, or anything like that. But I right now don't want anything that's going to bring me down. Like, I have enough of that in the real world, and I kind of want a little bit more escapism in my entertainment, a little bit more uplifting stuff. So I'm not in a place to watch it right now. I was even skeptical about watching The Suicide Squad for similar reasons, because I was like, do I really need something that's going to be, kind of cynical, or is that really what I want right now? I found that to be very entertaining, as we talked about. The Boys, I'm not sure if it's the right moment for me. And the more time that goes by, the more seasons I'm going to have to catch up on. But it's just not the right moment for me, I don't think.
But I understand that, because the wrong moment can completely not ruin, but like at least sway your opinion of something that's really good. Yeah. And so if you're just not feeling it at a particular point, don't force yourself.
Yeah.
And I completely understand only wanting content that is breezy, because that's what my wife and I are going for at the moment when we sit down together. On my own, I don't mind watching something that's a little darker, but even like The Boys is like, okay, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, here we go. What's going to happen now? And there is levity to it. There absolutely is. Like, it's not all, but it is dank, I guess.
Okay.
It's gory. It's adult. It's all these things. And sometimes you just want to sit back and be like, I don't know, I just need to watch an episode of I Love Lucy or something,
That's it. Yeah. Sometimes I need the comfort food. And even the new television that I watch will be things that are a little bit more comforting. And like Ted Lasso is a great example of that.
My saving grace.
It's yeah, exactly. Like, it's going to be uplifting. It's going to be even a down episode is better for my mental health than an entire show that's sort of a downer.
I totally understand.
Yeah. Well, after that, several months after that, we went pretty quiet on the best shots for a while there. But in April 2020, I pitched you on Picard. And
I watched about half of the first season.
Okay.
And then I don't even know why I stopped. I was working on my master's, and I got busy. I had to do other things, and I never went back to it, and I didn't miss it. And that told me that I was enjoying it, but it wasn't for me at the end of the day, which is kind of a bummer, because I actually really liked it, but also just not enough to invest that amount of time by myself, because my wife wasn't going to watch it. And sometimes you really have to pick and choose what you're going to watch when you're married, because you can only disappear into another room to watch something else so many times.
Believe me, I certainly understand that, and I have the same. Yeah, there's certain things I just don't have the time for, and it's like, if I'm going to make a choice to watch something that's going to be a show that I watch alone, then it's got to be something I really want to watch, because I've got limited slots for that. So I definitely get that. And if it's a show that you don't feel like, that's kind of where I ended up with The Flash, where like I was trying to watch it whenever I could. I went one of my slots for alone TV time, I would watch The Flash, and kind of fell off the wagon for a while there and wasn't missing it, and so I haven't picked it back up in a while, and I feel a little bad about it, because I watched it for 6 years and enjoyed it for the most part, but right now I'm just not missing it. So if I don't miss it, I got limited attention, and it's got to be something really special. But Picard, I really enjoyed it. And season 2 has been pushed to 2022 because of COVID. Please, by all means, protect Patrick Stewart. Put him in plastic wrap if we have to. He's a national treasure, a global treasure. But yes, I'm excited for season 2 of that show, because I did really enjoy it more than I thought I would, honestly. Yeah. We then talked about, just about a year ago, with our friend Russ Burlingame from comicbook.com. We talked about his love for Josie and the Pussycats. And his book is out now, by the way. So do check that out, because
I do have my copy of it.
Awesome. Yeah. Russ is, we have to get Russ back. I really want to talk to him about his experience with the book launch and everything, but there's a few topics we could touch on with Russ, but this actually has been on my list to watch with my wife for some time now. We've been waiting for it. We have a running list that we both contribute to of like movies we want to or shows we want to watch together. And this has been on the list. It's just it hasn't been like the right night to watch it, but it's like on the list. And have every intention of watching it soon when we're in sort of a silly mood and we want something funny.
Yeah, it's been on my list too, and I haven't watched it yet. And honestly, I feel so guilty that I haven't watched it yet because his pitch was so good.
So good.
And it's actually really been on my mind that I haven't watched it. But then when I sit down to be like, I got to watch something, I never think about
It's
it
not the
proper time. Yeah, so which is kind of a bummer. In February of 2021, I pitched you on D&D at the behest of some of our friends in my D&D group to try to get you to join. Did you end up joining our group, Frank?
No, I have not joined your group.
Okay. Well,
I have not.
That turned out just as well as I thought it was going to.
That was a real Lord of the Rings success there.
Yeah, it sure was, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
I will say you definitely piqued my interest with that one, but it's just not it's just not a thing. I don't know. I haven't felt like playing a game that I already have trepidations about. So nothing against our friends. I actually do.
Like I said.
I actually would like to sit in and watch you guys play at some point. By saying this on a podcast, our friends are going to bully me into it. But I would like to just to get a feel, a lay of the land, to experience it and see whether or not it's something I want to try or not.
Okay, I'm sure. I don't think that's the right way to sell it, truthfully.
Okay, fair enough.
You can do whatever you want. I think participation is the best way to involve. It's kind of like you want to sit down and watch somebody else play Monopoly. Like that's not like you just when it comes to your turn, you actually want to do something.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are ways to do it that don't require a lot of choice or know-how. Been playing for years. I still ask the same question.
Sure.
Which one do I roll now? There are so many.
Sure.
And so eventually they'll yell at me and tell me to stop coming and playing because of that. But I'll live it up until then.
Until then.
Yeah. Next time. So I pitched you Downton Abbey in March of 2021 because it's a feel-good show, and if you want something that actually makes you feel good, like Ted Lasso, at the end of the day. It's something that you should watch. Did you watch it, Frank, who is looking for content that makes them feel good?
I am trying to convince my wife that we should watch this because you sold me really well, and she's not feeling it as much, so I haven't been able to sneak it in. But you really sold me on the pitch, and I actually I feel like it would scratch sort of a The Crown sensibility, but with the Englishness, but an uplifting version of it. And
yes, that's exactly right. Yeah,
and so that's why I wanna try it. So the answer is I'm working on it.
Okay, that's good. All right, I'll take working on it. You pitched me For All Mankind in May of 2021. I watched the first couple of episodes of season 1, was digging it hard, really liked it, fell off the wagon, have been meaning to go back ever since, have not been able to get there, but I do want to get there.
So it's not like a Picard where you're like, I didn't miss it, so it's not for me.
No, I actually really would like to know what the rest of it is about, and so it's again like I fell off, and now I'm like, oh, now I gotta get back on, and it's a little harder.
I get that. I totally get that. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, after For All Mankind, you pitched me on Masters of the Universe in July of this year. And I haven't yet, but honestly, that's just been from lack of time, lack of those slots to watch something on my own. I've been trying to keep up with things like Marvel's What If and things like that sort of fill the same sort of time slots that I would be using for this. But the thing is, Marvel and Star Wars shows are basically going to be on forever, so I'm going to have to find some other time slot because those are the time slots I would be using.
So true. Those aren't going away. You have to recalibrate.
I got to readjust.
Otherwise, all the content you're going to end up watching is just Marvel and Star Wars and whatever other.
Just what Disney wants.
So true, though. Oh man. Yeah, that's why sometimes I make it a habit of I will watch Stargirl before I watch What If or something.
Yeah.
Just because I want to support the DC side of things or whatever. By the way, Stargirl, so good. Everybody should watch it. It's so fun. finally, Bo Burnham Inside, you pitched me in August 2021. I think I watched it the next day, if not the day after, and I told like 10 people to also watch it who also went and watched it. So
nice.
That's a nice high note to end on. And we actually did talk about how I already watched it on another
We did some
episode of the
follow-up,
show.
yeah. It was great. That I was so happy that you watched it first of all, and that you enjoyed it as much as you did, because now we can talk about it. And we've been swapping memes and things about it, and that's half the fun, is getting to talk about it with your friend afterwards. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. You and your wife both enjoyed it. I was happy to hear that. That is 19 best shots. We have done 19 of these.
What's our 20th going to be? It's got to be a good one. We got
too much pressure now.
We'll just never do one.
That's it. It's canceled.
It's over. Canceled.
There was too much pressure to do a 20th one. Frank couldn't make a decision, so we just never
hack
did
it. No. So anyway, that's all good, Frank. And we are basically at our time limit. So I'm going to say you can find us on beerwithgeeks.com, Gmail, and Twitter. You can rate and review us on iTunes and all other places podcasts can be found. Support us on patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio, and check out thoughtbubbleaudio.com to see all and listen to all of our other Thought Bubble Audio programs. Frank, I think I missed something, but I don't think I did. Doesn't matter.
I think you nailed it.
Cool. So to you I say, until next time, cheers.
Cheers.